Hey, discerning listeners, Love is Blind. My name is Dr. Kirk Honda. I'm a therapist and a professor. Don't use YouTube as a replacement for therapy, of course. If you need a therapist, get one. We all deserve therapy. Let's watch.
Oh, God.
Okay, so I think Hannah thinks that Leo is going to be in the other room. Or maybe Nick D, but I think it's Leo she thinks. And I think we're supposed to conclude that Leo is late to meet Hannah because Leo is with Brittany still.
Hello.
Okay, I was wrong. So it's Nick. He is back. So maybe Hannah and Nick will become engaged. It's funny for me with couples like this that I don't have a ton of confidence. I can't know, but I wouldn't be surprised if Leo and Brittany did not work out and Nick and Hannah did not work out. So for me as a spectator, as a civilian watching the show, as opposed to being a therapist, I am just curious about their personalities, and often we do not see their full personality, or of course we don't see their full personality, but we see very little of their personality in the pods. We see much more once they go to the getaway and once they come back to town. So I would like to know more about Nick, so I kind of hope that Nick and Hannah become engaged for that reason. That's terrible, though, because it's just me and my curiosity driving the tragedies of people's lives. Did I just describe reality television?
I think I'm going crazy.
You and me both.
I just want you to know, I have not been okay today.
Why's that?
Because of what I did. I feel like I'm just
What you did with us?
Yes.
Okay, so starting good. It sounds like Hannah is heading back towards, at the very least, saying, I'm not sure if I want to say goodbye yet. Maybe even saying, you're my number one. I want to be with you only. I don't know. It'd be weird if she would just make that choice based on the data that she has, because the only data she has is she broke up with him. She felt pretty good about it, and then she learned that Brittany is also with Leo, and now suddenly, you know what I mean? Now, for some people, it is clarifying to them, so could be. But at the very least, she's starting well because I think she's saying, I feel bad for not saying more about... Now, it'd be cruel if she brought him back just to say, I didn't break up with you fully. So I just wanted to tell you that I feel bad. Well, yeah, and maybe that would be a good idea, but certainly you wouldn't want to lead with that tone. But let's see what happens.
You think you made the wrong decision?
Of course I did. I'm going insane, I think. I don't know up from down.
I thought we were very sure about each other, and then this morning you made your decision and it was pretty clear. You're like, yeah, I don't know if this is gonna work. And I get it. You're fantastic. You're gonna be a great wife, to whoever that is, but...
So he has an interesting way of communicating in that he will compliment in an empty way. Maybe it's just the way that he communicates, or maybe he sincerely means it, but it's exaggeratory, and I understand why a lot of the women saw him as manipulative and fake, and maybe he is. So if I was a friend of his and I knew from him that he was sincere, I would say, you want to tone down the compliments a little bit because it can come across as insincere. I know you mean well with it, and it's nice. You're saying nice things, but it's a little over the top, and it can come across to other people like you're saying things without having any data to back it up, right? It'd be like meeting someone at a job interview. You're interviewing someone, and you've had 5 minutes with them and you're just like, oh my God, I can just tell you're going to be the most amazing employee of all time. You're going to be my favorite person. We're going to be best friends. I can just tell you're just a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful person. And the person interviewing for those is like, how do you, wait, you just read my resume. You could tell all that from my resume. So I think he might have that way of communicating, and maybe it's a desperation thing. I don't know. But anyway, let's see how this goes.
I was hurt. I felt really hurt.
I know you did. I'm sorry. I think I hurt you because I didn't want you to hurt me, which is very selfish. Everyone was like, Hannah, you got to end it with someone. Who you're going to end it with? You should end it with Nick. And I was like, okay, that's what I'll do.
Wait, she's saying a lot of things that I don't understand. Let's rewind that.
That is, but I was hurt.
So first off, good. I was hurt. That's good.
I felt really hurt.
I know you did. I'm sorry.
And good. I'm sorry. I think more might help. But then she says a number of things that I'm confused about.
I think I hurt you because I didn't want you to hurt me.
I hurt you because I didn't want you to hurt me. The first time I heard that when we were playing through, I thought, what? I think you're just saying that to make it more likely that Nick will like you or something, right? Because I think if we asked you when you were breaking up with Nick, why you're breaking up with Nick, I think you would say because you like Leo more and you think Nick has more growing up to do, or whatever it is that she said. But now she's saying that essentially Nick was the number one and she was worried about him dumping her, which, okay, and maybe that's, okay, that can fit in that she was worried that Nick wasn't for real, and that if she opened up and was vulnerable, that eventually Nick would hurt her. And so she was running away from that. Yeah, okay, that scans. And then she learned by the way that he reacted to her breaking up with him that maybe he was for real. If he was faking it, he would just fake being bummed out about being broken up with, right? But I think that's what's happening, is that she's like, wait, the way that he reacted to me breaking up with him makes me think that maybe he was for real. But really, the way that he reacted, it could have gone either way for me. Because, if we're really looking for signs of fakery from him, insincerity from him, he never cried about it. That doesn't mean that he didn't have feelings. It's a misnomer that in loss and grief, you have to cry or you have to have certain indications of pain outwardly. Sometimes people process internally. Sometimes it comes out later. It can come out a year later sometimes. Everyone's different. Our bodies are different. Our safety to have feelings is different over time. But anyway, we didn't see any overt indication of visceral emotion from him. It doesn't mean it didn't happen. But we also didn't see him, I don't know, smirk or say, oh, well, I was faking it the whole time. I'm just trying to think what he would have done that would have indicated that he was indeed faking, right? I think it would have lent itself to more sincerity if he would have tried to convince her or something. Not that that's a good idea, but that's a common reaction from people when they're being dumped, right? Like, well, wait, no, I don't think this is a good idea. How come are you sure about this? Some kind of bargaining along those lines. He didn't do that. It doesn't mean anything necessarily.
Which is very selfish. Everyone was like, Hannah, you got to end it with someone. Who you're going to end it with? You should end it with Nick. And I was like, okay, that's what I'll do.
So
I feel like I have to turn on the subtitles because she's talking very fast. Let's rewind.
Which is very selfish. Everyone was like, Hannah, you got to end it with someone. Who you're going to end it with? You should end it with.
So the subtitles aren't accurate. She's saying everyone was like, Hannah, you got to end it with someone. I think meaning that you have two guys in your interest pool. That's a weird way to put it. You're interested in two different guys, and you have to end it with someone, and you should end it with Nick, and okay.
With Nick, and I was like, okay, that's what I'll do.
So people were telling you that.
So one, if that's true, then yikes. If she's saying that I didn't know who to choose and a bunch of people were saying I should end it with you, and so I did. One, if that's really what happened, then yikes, Hannah, like, you gotta grow a backbone there about major decisions like this. Two, you're telling him that just because other people told you, that's why you broke up with what? One, what's going on in the lounge? Two, you are so influenceable. If I were him, if that's truly what she is communicating and that is true what happened, if I were Nick, that would be a massive red flag. That your feelings towards somebody, whether it's me or anyone, are so easily dismantled by other people's opinions.
End it with me? And that's what you listen to?
Yeah, kind of. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how I feel about anything.
Okay, so all that could be true. And I believe her, because if it weren't true, I don't think she'd be saying this. Although she could just be saying this because she is wanting to not say that she doesn't really like Nick as much as she likes Leo or something. But anyway, so she's confused, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think she doesn't have the experience or the self-awareness or the process of being able to sift through enough of what she's going through to have a better statement to herself and to Nick. Or she's just impulsive and should have thought about all of this before she started talking to Nick. Because if Nick is for real, which I think is a question mark, at least they're editing it in a way to make it look, or at least a lot of the women think that he's fake, right? If he's for real, then he should run, or he should consider this a now, if he doesn't react to this, if he's just like, well, I'm glad that you're back, then I would actually start to wonder if he was sincere. Because if he doesn't react, he should say to it, and I think he is, he should say to himself, wait, so what is happening right now? I don't want to move forward until you know what you want, and I can feel confident that you actually want to be with me. You know, that kind of, so let's see what he says.
Yeah, kind of. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how I feel about anything.
You still don't know how you feel about us?
I think I'm like scared you're gonna like be disappointed in me or something. I don't know.
Okay. She is in the psychoanalytic couch therapy position, so maybe there's free associating that is occurring right now. It kind of has that look to it. And she's saying, I think I'm worried that you're, what did she say exactly?
I think I'm like scared you're
I think I'm like scared you're going to be disappointed in me or something. Yeah, she has indicated a number of things in that direction in the edit. So that's good for her to know about herself and good for her to express. And then he says, I think, but you're a very confident person, I thought.
gonna like be disappointed in me or something. I don't know. You're a very confident person.
Oh, she's the one that says, you're a very confident person. So I'm guessing he's going to say, I'm not as confident. At least I hope he says that. And I hope that so I think it would be helpful if he's sincere to say, I have a way of dating or flirting, or I made a choice before coming into the pods that I was going to try to come across as a bit of a confident player, not because I want to be a D-bag, but because I thought that would help, or I am not proud of the fact that I'm actually pretty insecure, as everyone is, honestly. No one is not insecure. So let's see what he says here.
Person, I'm scared, like, I don't know, like how confident you are and stuff is gonna make me like less confident in myself. I don't know. You know what actually it is?
What's that?
I think, I don't know why. I just think like you will break my fucking heart, I think.
Okay. So she's worried. I think it might help if she were to specify why. It could just be because she's worried in general, as anyone would be in a situation like this, because they barely know each other. But I think what she might be trying to say is, given how confident you are and the vision I have of you based on what you've been putting down, is that you're this really good looking, really successful, athletic, hot guy. And I'm worried you're not going to think I'm in your league or something like that.
Why do you?
I don't know. That's a problem because you say everything right, but I feel like you're going to really hurt me.
I don't say.
So I don't know if this is an age thing, that we're seeing with her. She is, I think, beating around the bush, or she doesn't know what's happening. She is seemingly fishing. She would do better to be more direct and say whatever is happening. If it is what I think it is, what I said earlier, then she might benefit by saying it more directly than that. But it seems like she's more fishing, like, I'm looking for reassurance that you're going to love me no matter what. But there's no way to know that. He doesn't know it. And I think he's going to say that I will love you no matter what, but no one knows. And independent of how people look in 3 dimensions, it's also unknown how they will feel about each other after kissing each other. Maybe it'll be gross. Maybe there's, oh, and by the way, I asked in an earlier episode, what do French people call French kissing? And people in the comment section said what it was. And I forget the French word, but it essentially was shoveling something. Like, I can't remember the phrase, but in France they use the phrase of like shoveling, like you're shoveling with your tongue, which I am both delighted by and disgusted by.
Everything right. I'm not perfect. I told you that. I'm not perfect.
You
I have a
feel
lot to
perfect, I
work on it.
think.
You know, maybe I sound confident, maybe I'm saying the right things, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't scared too.
Like, what if the reveal, you don't like what you see? Or like, what
What if you don't like what you see?
Okay, this is good. She's being more direct. I'm glad that that's happening. And he is also saying, oh, well, what if you don't like what you see? Yeah.
I have doubts too. It goes both ways.
I know.
It goes both ways. Like, I told you I'm cool with the person you are. Like, that's honestly how I feel. I want you. I want you really bad. You gotta give me a chance.
There's this, I don't know if anyone else has this question. I think it's supposed to be a question in our minds as to whether or not he's sincere. Certainly a lot of the women in the lounge were sure that he was faking this whole thing. So I guess that's where I'm getting it from. And I keep looking for a sign. I'm guessing I'm never going to get it, but the way that he's talking doesn't push me in either direction. I'll just say that.
I know.
Like, you gotta give me a chance. Do you still want to continue to talk to me?
Yes, that's why I'm here.
Well, I'm here.
I was standing on the edge of a
Because if he was sincerely in this, then he would have a reaction, or I should say that if he had a reaction like the way Brittany reacted, where he would say, oh my God, so you must have someone else because you didn't, or you said actually when you're breaking up with me that you are connecting with someone else more than me. Is that still happening? Is that still true? Am I still number 2? What's going on? That would indicate more sincerity there. It wouldn't, be a slam dunk indication of that, but it would lend itself to that conclusion. And we're not seeing anything like that. We're not seeing anything, in my opinion, that points in the direction of insincerity. But you just imagine that he would have a lot of issues right now of, 1, where am I? 2, you said some concerning things. You said that you think that I haven't figured out who I am yet. What does that mean? Like when we saw Garrett and Taylor talking, and Garrett said, you are calculated, right? Taylor was like, wait, what? And because you're invested, you are hurt, more hurt than you would be otherwise if you weren't invested. Also, if you're going to spend the rest of your life with someone, you want to suss out, wait, so are you overly critical, or do you not see things accurately, or are you going to continue believing that I'm calculated? Because I don't want you to believe that, because I want to spend the rest of my life with you, and I don't want you to be thinking. Whereas what he is doing is more kind of what Sam was doing in UK season 1, where no matter what happens, he is on board. And I can see how people would conclude that that means fakery, because he doesn't really care about a connection. He doesn't care about being dumped, because he knows he highly suspects that he's not going to marry this person. He just wants to get to the getaway, you know? So as I talk it out loud, I'm leaning now more towards the insincerity thing. So, but I don't know. It's kind of like a 45-55 thing.
Forever now I'm right here standing next to you. I was standing.
All right, well, that does it for that episode. I want to remind everyone that there is a fan-led Facebook fan page, and there's also a fan-led subreddit on Reddit. If you want to check those places out, you can conversate with other people on the topics that I talk about. I typically don't go to those places because I want people to feel like they can talk crap about me without hurting my feelings. So Facebook fan page and the subreddit are not associated with Psychology in Seattle. They are led by fans. So yeah, and everyone out there, please take care of yourself, because you deserve it. You really, really do.